Okay, we're recording this video after close of trade Thursday 25th of September 2014. In fact, for me it's the morning after here. It's Friday morning, kind of in France, but I want to talk about Thursday's trade. What a day, Thursday. So finally we got a big kind of sell-off day. We haven't had one of those for a while. It just felt kind of good. It kind of flowed all day and we could just feel that kind of energy going down and down and down. No one was there to kind of catch it and kind of reverse it, as we've had so many kind of sell-off days that have just kind of gotten so far and then just reversed and kind of made back ground. Thursday was a really nice kind of trending or range day. So I want to talk about that and want to talk about one of these kind of rules of thumb that I have, that trending days close near their extreme. And it's a refresh of an old article on the site, and I just want to point that out. Just show you here, this is the new look Emini-Watch site. So back in April 2008, this was trading psychology and range days, and I just used the example of a Tom Cruise movie, Days of Thunder, and how it kind of related to these kind of ranging days or trend days. You can call them range, some kind of analysts call these range days, others call them trending days. They're just days where we have pretty wide range, close to or maybe more than 2% kind of move during the day. And the key characteristics of trending days or range days like this is that they open near one extreme and they close at the opposite extreme. And I got some stats on the E-mini kind of when I did this analysis last. And if you're interested, there is some kind of interesting kind of psychology to do with this Tom Cruise movie and Days of Thunder. So I'll link to that if you're kind of interested. So before I get to the trades I took and how it kind of felt during Thursday's trade, just want to look at the overall kind of picture where we stand. So we did 2.1 million contracts on Thursday. It was decent in terms of range, 28.5 points, kind of top to bottom, which is pretty decent. Only about a 1.8% move down though. Trending range days can go over the 2% kind of move down, but it was kind of good day, kind of set off. We have the open at one extreme and the close at the other extreme. And that's really the message from this video, is if you can, the safest trades is always to try and find a pullback, get in on a pullback, and if you possibly can, hold to the close, because the close will be at or near the extreme. And in this case, on Thursday's trade, we were within about 3 3/4 points of the extreme on the low where we closed. Personally, I find that very impossible to do. I put my target out at 4 points. I can stretch it out a little bit, but I'll never be kind of holding into the close. I don't know, it's just not for me. But it is the smart thing to do if you possibly can, if you've got the kind of the psychological wherewithal to do that. But at the very least, do not try and catch a reversal trade. And I'll go through the day's trades, because I tried one reversal trade kind of midway through the morning, didn't work out, and I learned my lesson and then got in on the next pullback that I could. In terms of where the indices kind of stand now, we're breaking back down below or towards this kind of critical kind of support level. So here's the Dow. We've had all these blue professional bars into 17,200, and now we're breaking the lows of that. So that's really important. So this is blue professional up bars here, where professionals are taking profits into those highs. We had that kind of last roll of the dice with Wednesday's trade, where we kind of ramped it up. We kind of bounced off that 1970 level that I said was key on the E-mini. Blue professional up bar on the Dow, and we're broken below the lows of that. So we've had this whole series of blue professional up bars showing the professionals are selling into those highs, and then now we're breaking below the lows of that. On the Nasdaq, again looking pretty weak. We're breaking down now with Thursday's activity below this kind of little pivot low. The Russell's been the weakest of the lot. We're just breaking down and down and down here, which is kind of good. But at some point we'll find some kind of support down here at this level. That's going to be absolutely key on the Russell. Here's the S&P 500. So a big kind of down day with Thursday's trade. So again, similar type pattern, blue professional up bars here. Breaking back down. Not got an exhaustion pattern on the S&P 500, but we're getting towards those kind of levels where we could we'll be putting in a left shoulder at some point, but I'm in no hurry to say that is the case kind of going on. So I think we'll still get some little bit of action to the downside. Might be a little bit of consolidation during Friday's trade into Monday's trade and see them, but we are definitely weak, and so this seasonal trade is seemingly playing out quite nicely. And you can see it on Better X trend. We kind of flipped over and we're on the way down with all these exhaustion patterns kind of going on. So we got the Dow kind of flipped over here. We got the Russell flipped over days and days ago. It's been the weakest of the lot. Everybody's talking about this kind of death cross with the 50-day moving average crossing over the 200-day moving average. Here's the S&P 500. Again, we flipped over, kind of heading on the downside, and the Nasdaq the same deal, kind of flipped over and trailing the stop down. Now, why do I think this is going to go a little bit further? I think it's going to go. Certainly we've got the seasonal pattern kind of in place. We've got that, overall bias to the downside for the next 10 days or so. But what we've done in my mind is broken through the 135-minute chart support here. So this is this higher time frames multiplied by 3 to get to a daily chart. So a 45-minute chart, a 135-minute chart, and a daily chart here. At some point we will have cyclical support coming on the daily chart here, but we've broken below support on the 135-minute chart here, and this is this key level here at 1970, and we've got a blue professional bar coming through that support level there. That's falling through the ice. So blue professional bar through an important support level takes us into a trend move on the 135-minute chart, and we're sitting at support here on the 45. On the 45, we've not broken into a pullback in a downtrend type scenario. It's kind of big selling kind of going on here. We've got a little bit of bullish divergence kind of going on, so we might have a little bit of hold here and kind of rally back, but anything coming back to that 70 level, we'll have to watch the professionals and see what they do when they kind of sell it, and it kind of continues down. But we've got a good chance of this turning into a trend move on the 135-minute chart kind of over the course of that kind of seasonal weakness pattern. Now let's talk about kind of day trading days like this. So we know that on range days we open at an extreme and we close at an extreme, so ranging days or trending days. On down days like today, we opened at the extreme of the day and we closed virtually at the extreme of the day. The tricky thing to know is when during the day we've actually just turned into a trending day or a range day on the way down or even on the way up, and what to do. We know on those days we're supposed to be getting with the trend and just holding as close to the close as we can. But at what point in the day does this turn into a ranging day that's just going to go and go and go? I must admit, my first trade of the day I was short at 83.50 and I punched out at 80.50 for only 3 points. I mean, it was a nice little trade, but we just kept on going through the support level and we just turned into a big trending day. This is the 4,500 tip bar chart. I thought we would test back up. I thought on the 4,500 tip bar chart we'd kind of reach that support. We had a little blue professional bar kind of come in there. I thought we might kind of hold and kind of just test back up, have some blue professional kind of testing back up bars, and that's why I punched out early at 80.50. And of course it didn't do that. It just kept on going, dropping through there. So 11 a.m., let's see where 11 a.m. is on the chart here. 11 a.m. is kind of around here. You can see we're still at the lows. We were maybe trying to put in a pullback to end of trend and find some support there, but we didn't have any blue professional bars kind of come in at those lows. We didn't kind of break up through those resistance into a little bit of a trending move on the way up. So 11 a.m. comes along. We're still weak. We haven't made a reversal by that time. So again, another rule of thumb says if we haven't reversed by 11 a.m. in the morning, we're just going to keep going in the trending direction, just play with those lows and break lower and lower and lower by a point or two each time and just kind of pushing down, and that's exactly what we did. So I tried to go long at 76, and I probably should be able to find it on the 1500 tip bar chart where that was, but I went long at 76 and then just got out with a 2-point loss at 74 when it just was not turning around. So as soon as I'm getting a losing trade as we're kind of heading down, and this is turning into a trending type day, and I've got a losing trade kind of on my hands, I know the trend direction is kind of more likely to be down than on the way up. So it's a question of trying to find a decent entry on the way down. So I was waiting and waiting. This is the 1500 tip bar chart, waiting and waiting for a decent kind of entry on the way down. I missed this one, which was a nice one, all these blue professional bars into this resistance, which is a pullback to end of trend, and we broke to new lows. That was a really nice little trade. I think that ran for 4 points easily, kind of there. And then I got in short at 66.50, kind of on this move down. So we tested into these highs, blue professional bars kind of come in. I get short at 66.50, and it doesn't run to new lows. I was expecting it to break to new lows. It didn't. It came back up, so I punched out at break even on that trade there. But because I know this is a ranging day, I'm just waiting for another kind of confluence of turning points to come in, and we had the 1500 tip bar chart. I think the 45 kind of came in as resistance as well around this point, and I went short again at 66. And at that point we started to really break down properly at that level. We came back into my entry point with a blue professional up bar, but immediately we kind of went the other way, pull back to end of trend, and I've moved my target out. We knew this low was down here at 61.75, and so my initial target was at 62, which is too close to that level. If we're going to break it and continue to break to new lows, which is what the the evidence is for trending days, I moved my target out to 60.50. Didn't want it at a round number at 60 even. That didn't make sense. So I just moved it to 60.50. And then when we broke to new lows here at this point here, that was an incredibly fast move. All the stops got run, and bang, I got taken out for 5.5 on the way down there. So the lesson for me is, even though that trade did not work out short the first time around, got out of break even, you know that the trend direction is going to continue on the way down and break to new lows. So try and pick points where you've got a confluence of resistance lines kind of coming together, get in on those entries and kind of just go with the trend. So it was a really nice day for me. Made a mistake early on trying to catch a low and kind of play a reversal trade, but as soon as that doesn't work out, the 11 a.m. kind of window kind of rolls around, you kind of know it's going to break to new lows. So just try and find those kind of re-entry opportunities and hold as close to the close as you possibly can. So there we go. A little bit of a rule of thumb: trend days close near their extremes. So it's trying to figure out, at what point during the trading day do you know that this is a really nice kind of trending or ranging day where it's just going to continue down and down, and then just go with the high probability trade, which is with the trend. Hope your trading's going well. Looking forward to Friday. Okay, short 66 even, short 66 even. And trying this again. Last time we tried to go short, taken out at break even because it ran and then it bounced all the way back up, which is a shame. So what are we off? We're off a lot today, and it's coming up to 10:42. So is today going to be a reversal day? I doubt it with such a big move down. So we're breaking support on 1500. Tested back up to 68, so we've got this channel kind of going on here, but we're breaking a support on 1500. We've got another one to put in at some point here on 5, and we've just broken the lows of that blue professional bar. So here we go. So the low is 61.75, I think. Yep. So I'm going to have to move my target out because it's sitting at 62, which is the wrong spot to be. So we've got all these exhaustion patterns in, and bearish divergence, flush exhaustion, so we've got to see the same thing on the downside on the 500 tip bar chart. Okay, finally, we look like we're getting that break. So we've got supported now on the 500 and 1500, they're both in, so we've got to break those into trend moves and get that exhaustion patterns. We've just been hanging around these blue professional bars down here. Finally we're getting going. So good, trending moves here. We've got to see something to mirror this exhaustion. But it's having a hard time, just doesn't want to go. I know we put in these pullback to end of trend moves here and on the 45, but it's a strong down day, so we're just going to keep on inching lower and lower each time. I moved my target out to 60.50, who knows? Yeah, might get lucky. I don't want to have it at 60 because that's a round number. Got lucky the last time I got out at 70 even. Kept on going through, but I'll just have it at 60.5. Alright. Well, we've broken down to 62.75, but it's with rainbow patterns. Don't particularly like that, but particularly since we're so close to the original target at 62 even. But we've got to see exhaustion. So, no blue professional bars in a while, which has been doing nothing and nothing, so 11 AM. Come on. Yeah, this low is in sight. Well, we just had a push back up to 66, but that's blue professional up bars. Immediately breaking the lows of them. That got a little bit excited just there. It's got cyclical energy to come down on the 1500. We've got this support in, but we'll see. Still got to see exhaustion patterns to mirror these things. So, coming down again. So cyclical energy kind of comes in, that'll be good. Well, been going nowhere. Kind of coming up to lunchtime, I suppose. Pullback in a downtrend's gone off. Got a blue professional bar come in. And we're breaking the lows of that. So this rainbow pattern was important. Big spike back up because of that. But we've got an exhaustion sell here, but it's not in the right place for ending a move. Could just be showing the strength of the selling. Alright, more blue professional bars on the way down. So, let's see, let's keep this thing going. Original target at 62 just got hit. 61.75's previous low kind of down here, so we're going to have a little bit of a technical bounce off that. Yeah, we just hit it with a rainbow pattern. Pull back 200 trends, got a little bit of time to run here. Yeah, big push back off there, double bottom. But it's got to run. Pull back under trend on 500s. It's got to run on. So the target's at 60.50. Of course, the original target would just have been taken out just then. Bingo, just taken out. It just flew through that previous low, knocked out a whole bunch of trailing stops. Bang! Excellent. And blue professional down bars after pullback 200 trend. So, best trade of the day, 5.5 points. Happy with that. What was the absolute low there? Yeah, it was 60 even. So I'm glad I moved my target to the half point. That made sense, and it's an 8,000 reading. Alright, finally done, 11:26 AM.